Evil dies tonight.
Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained?
Halloween Kills, 2021, directed by David Gordon Green. This is the second film in the trilogy, but if we're including Halloween, the original 1978, then this is the third movie in the timeline. So technically, the third installment, technically the second installment, but with requel rules, it is the second one. So Halloween Kills is just that. It has to make up for all of the movies that have been retconned. That is, in some people's minds, a detriment to this movie. Some people think that this movie is nothing but blood, guts, and gore to get Michael's kill count up. While this is true, this movie is much, much more than that. And because David Gordon Green tried to make it more than that, that is why this movie is also very divisive within the community. But we are going to be talking about my personal opinion today. Now, my personal opinion is not the right opinion, it is just my opinion, so don't kill me in the comment section below. Just let me know what you think. Chime in. I'm interested to hear what you have to say. So Halloween Kills starts off with Cameron, and he finds Hawkins lying on the street bleeding from his neck because, as we remember from Halloween 2018, Sartain stabbed him in the throat and then ran him over with the car. Well, they retconned that kill, and Hawkins is alive. And he is bleeding from the neck, and he says that he has to be the one to kill Michael, and Michael must die. That brings us straight into perhaps the best part of this entire movie. We get thrown right into Halloween 1978, but David Gordon Green's interpretation of John Carpenter's masterpiece. We get a flashback to the moments right after the end of the original movie. And, I mean, I'm not saying anything new here. I know all the reviews on YouTube. I think the community is in agreement that this part of the movie is an A+. I don't think anybody argues the point that the William Shatner mask looks identical to the original. The lighting is on point. The film grain, the lens they put on the camera, everything is just so on point. The character designs, the hair, the clothing, it is so accurate. It makes me want a time period piece Halloween movie. Like, I think the whole movie could have been set in that flashback, and I don't think anybody would have had a problem with it. But we get a drawn-out flashback. Now, they don't just jump right back to present day. This flashback, it goes on for like 5 minutes, I want to say, at least. And we watch a young Hawkins search for Michael, and the hunt leads them to Michael's old house, the Myers house. And Hawkins winds up accidentally shooting his partner as Michael is holding him as a human shield. And James Jude Courtney, this movie, I think, Halloween Kills, is what puts him at the top of the list, you know, in the upper echelon of Michael Myers portrayals. I don't think that's controversial at all, but Halloween Kills cemented James Jude Courtney as the best, maybe the best, Michael Myers ever to don the mask. And the scene where Hawkins shoots his partner and Michael immediately turns side profile and continues to walk away, it is so Nick Castle Michael Myers, but with a little bit of flair. He does so much while underneath the mask. He moves with more, you know, pep in his step, if you will. Michael Myers has more pep in his step because if you think about it, in 1978 he was about 21 years old, so of course he's gonna be moving around with a little bit more oomph than he would be as a 60-year-old man in 2021 or 2018 when this movie is set. But yeah, James Jude Courtney is a winner. This flashback is a winner. And then we catch up to the current events where we left off in Halloween 2018. Michael Myers is in the burning Strode house. And I remember right before this movie came out, I'm on YouTube watching all these YouTube videos, theories. How did Michael Myers survive the burning house, you know? And I remember being on the train of Michael Myers hiding in the gun rack, the gun closet. the armory, you know, where Laurie stored her guns. And when the firefighter falls through the floor and you see Michael throw that grate up and you see Myers there in the flames, it's so cool. So badass. And he brutally kills this firefighter without hesitation. And the other firefighters are calling for their buddy for help, and the one extends his hands. He says, "Take my hand, take my hand." And as the audience are like, "No, don't extend your hand, don't extend your hand." And then we get the amazing shot of Michael Myers on the porch as the burning building is just engulfed in flames. That is actually my wallpaper on my phone. That shot is literally my wallpaper. I think James Jude Courtney, I think David Gordon Green, everybody knocked it out of the park with this scene. But yet I still hear that people have problems with it. My good buddy, actually, that I work with has a huge problem with this scene. He believes Michael Myers from 1978 would never exit the house through the front door, and he would never take on the entire fire department in hand-to-hand combat. He said that's more of a Jason Voorhees thing to do. Michael Myers is more ethereal. He is more of a stalker. He would get out of that house and out of that situation and nobody would even know he was there. I do agree, but at the same time, I don't have any gripes with this scene. It was so badass, and it makes you scared of Michael Myers because he took the whole fire department on by himself. Like 12 firefighters, and he just killed them all with saws, with pickaxes, with all sorts of things. It was just total carnage candy, and that's kind of what this movie is. But it is not just that. We will get there when we get there. Evil dies tonight, don't forget. So that brings us to where our legacy characters are, and they are at this bar, and we learn that they meet there every Halloween to memorialize, to remember the tragedy 1978. We get Lindsay Wallace, we get Nurse Marianne, we get Anthony Michael Hall as Tommy, and we get Lonnie Elam. And so this is another problem that people have with this movie. They think that these characters weren't used effectively. I feel like there was no other way to use these characters than the way that they did, you know? I think that is a detriment of this movie. A lot of people say that this feels like Halloween the ride. Like if we were in a dark ride based on Halloween, you would see all these characters, but you would quickly move on. I totally understand that gripe. But you do have moments with each of these characters. For example, we get Tommy giving his speech in the bar when we first meet the characters. Lonnie Elam, towards the end of the movie, I'm jumping around now, he decides to go in the Myers house alone without his son and Allison because he is not going to run away from the evil anymore. He wants to take it head on. We get a moment with the nurse, the original nurse from 1978, when she holds out the gun and says, "This is for Dr. Loomis." And Lindsay gets a whole chase sequence when she puts the bricks in the pillowcase of the trick-or-treaters and she hits Michael in the head, and then she runs down to the water and she's hiding from Michael. I mean, I think that covered my bases. I think each legacy character got their moment in the spotlight. So I don't quite understand why everybody feels like these characters weren't utilized properly. So I'd have to disagree with that. In my opinion, I think the characters were used pretty wisely, and the writing was pretty smart, saying that they meet at this bar every Halloween to pay tribute to memorialize those who died in 1978. So it gave us a reason as to why we have the legacy characters in one place, and then they go out to hunt Michael Myers. But this is where the big problem comes. Tommy creates a Lynch Mob. And for the first time, except for Halloween 4, the entire town of Haddonfield gets involved in hunting down Michael Myers. So this Lynch Mob forms, and Tommy's running it, but there is 2 patients from the sanitarium that have escaped. Michael Myers, and then the Umbrella Guy from Halloween 2018. This is where David Gordon Green took his time to implement some more mythology, some more backstories, some more... What's the word? Some more meat on the story. This is where he decided to do a social commentary in a Halloween film. So, I know I'm jumping around now, but we're in the hospital scene, and Laurie is there, and that's where she remains for most of this movie. Laurie is in the hospital, reminiscent of Halloween 2. However, in this one, she's not just laying in the bed the whole time. She shoots herself up with adrenaline. She tries to help everybody out during the scene that I'm describing. So, the mob is in the hospital. A lot of them are there searching for their loved ones that they haven't heard back from. And most of them are victims of Michael Myers. As we see, the hospital is totally overwhelmed. They don't have enough staff. They have dead bodies just laying in random hospital rooms, as to why Allison was able to see Sartain's body. I know a lot of people have a problem with that, and they nitpick that out of this movie, of all things to nitpick this movie for. But I digress. Anyways, I'm getting off track. What are we going to call him? The Umbrella Man? The mental patient. What's his name? I forget his name. The Umbrella Guy. You know, he goes, Figaro, Figaro, Figaro. That guy. You know what I'm talking about. So the Umbrella Guy, we're going to call him the Umbrella Guy. He runs up to the top floor of the hotel trying to escape this Lynch mob. He was only at the hospital looking for help. The poor guy just wanted help. And he winds up getting blamed for being Michael Myers, because these people have never seen Michael in their life. They've only seen him described in stories, in town mythology. So, they chase him to the top floor, and Karen, Allison's mother, Laurie's daughter...
I didn't get that. Could you try again?
What the fuck? Why is my Siri going off? Shut up! That actually scared the shit out of me. I don't know how that happened, but alright. Anyways, Karen locks Umbrella Man in the top floor hallway from both sides, so the Lynch can't get to him. However, they're knocking down the door to get to Michael. And this is where the Umbrella Man then jumps out the window and falls to his death. Now, this is where this movie takes a turn where a lot of people didn't like it. They actually made a monster. So the monster of Michael Myers created a monster in the town of Haddonfield. He created so much grief, so much chaos with his horrendous acts of violence, that the town of Haddonfield is crumbling within itself. So not only did this movie make Michael Myers an unbeatable force, literally, physically, but mentally and emotionally, Michael Myers crippled Haddonfield, and they go as far as to kill an innocent man. I personally loved this part of the movie. It was so unexpected, so unpredictable, that the shock value got me going. And then when I thought about what I just saw, I was like, oh shit, they went there. And then we get thrown right back into Michael Myers stuff, where he's lurking around the town, killing people. And eventually, he winds up at his original house, the Myers house. And Big John and Little John are there. And Big John and Little John are basically the comedic relief for this movie. That is their sole purpose, basically. It worked for me. It was funny how Big John was the smaller guy and Little John was the bigger guy. I thought it was pretty good. And those two actors, I think they did a good job. They were pretty funny. I feel like they hit their marks. They portrayed their lines really well. And they did what they were supposed to do. They were the comedic relief. Then they got murdered. And Michael Myers then takes control of the Myers house. And this is where Lonnie, Cameron, and Allison show up. And oh my god, if Michael Myers couldn't get more brutal. He shoves Lonnie up in the attic. What do they call those things? The attic thing, where you pull down the attic and the stairs come down. The attic. We're just going to call it the attic. So Lonnie is stuffed in the attic, and Cameron notices this as blood drips down onto his face. And he looks up, and it's his dad stuffed in the attic. And then Michael comes, and he fucks shit up. And when I say Michael fucks shit up, he fucks shit up. Cameron gets his head shoved into the banister, and he gets ripped all around. And Allison says, stop, stop, stop. And he just totally 360, you know, almost rips Cameron's head off. Myers is so brutal in this movie, but that's kind of the job that this movie had. It was the movie where they had to ramp everything up to get Myers to the threat that he was in the original timeline. In the original timeline, we had like 5, 6 movies to work with that, you know, Michael had time to kill people and build up his reputation in the town. So for this trilogy, this David Gordon Green timeline, we only had 2 movies so far. So obviously they had to bump it up, and they do here. The moment where he kills Cameron, like I just said, the moment in the beginning of the movie when there's the couple playing with the drone, and Myers is in their kitchen patching himself up after he got his finger shot off in 2018's Halloween, and he's just putting knives in this man's back, taking another knife, putting it in his back, and just looking at him and observing like he's playing with a toy, but it's a human body. At that point, it's a dead human body. It's a cadaver, and yeah, right? What the fuck's a cadaver? Am I right? A cadaver, a fucking cadaver. Isn't that a dead body or a corpse? Oh, well, yeah, exactly that. That's what I meant. A cadaver, a human body that is being used for medical study or dissection. Michael is basically studying these knives, seeing which one stabs the best, and he's just doing this as the man's wife is watching on. She's clutching on to life, and as we saw on Halloween Ends, which I just reviewed, if you didn't see it, click the eye above my head. She's watching this after she got stabbed in the neck with a light tube. It's so brutal. It's so vicious. I just got done watching this movie with my girlfriend last night in anticipation for this review, and she's sitting there like, this is making me feel like uncomfortable. And I look at her, I'm like, shit. Honestly, me too. It really is so uncomfortable. Like, the music is a minimum at that part in the movie when he's just testing these knives out and the woman is watching. The minimal music really lets you sit there and watch it, almost as if you're watching from her perspective. You're helpless in watching this man get stabbed and dissected. So now we're gonna jump back to the end of the movie, where Allison is in the Myers house, and she is fighting Michael, and she's ready to die, and she's like, do it! And that's the part in the trailer that we all saw back in 2021 when this movie was new. And then her mother comes to her rescue and removes Michael's mask, and that's almost like a trap. And Michael follows her into the alley, or whatever the hell that was, where the mob is waiting for Michael. And this is the part where the mob beats Michael down to a pulp. And I remember thinking, like, what is happening? They're not going to kill Michael in the second movie in the trilogy. No, obviously not. Michael springs back to life, and he massacres everyone in the mob, including Tommy. So, Nurse Marion, Tommy, and Lonnie are all dead. Lindsay is the only legacy character that survives, along with Laurie. And yeah, I remember when Michael sprung back to life, I was like, okay, so they finally answered the question. He is supernatural in this timeline, because that's what we were asking all along in this David Gordon Green timeline. Is he supernatural or not? Is he powered by, a cult or not? We had no idea, and this is the movie where it kind of solidified that Myers is supernatural to a certain extent. His whole motive is he wants to go back to his sister's room and look out the window, which he does after he kills the mob. He returns to the Myers house where he kills Karen. And yeah, that's where this movie really leaves off. It is an incomplete story, and I know a lot of people have problems with that, but it makes you want to see the next one, doesn't it? And then we got Halloween Ends, which I already reviewed. Check it out if you haven't already. I am reviewing all of the Halloween movies in the franchise, as we are halfway to Halloween, halfway to spooky season. So what better way to get hype and get ready for Halloween by reviewing every Halloween movie in the entire franchise. So I want to thank you for watching this video. If I have to rank it, I'm going to give Halloween Kills a solid 8 out of 10. I feel like it did a great job of showing us a brutal Michael Myers. It really did give me the Halloween vibe with all of the decor. It did a great job of showing us a flashback to 1978. It proved that we could probably do an entire movie, an entire timepiece Halloween film. Hopefully, you know, they think about doing that for the next one, the one in the future. But yeah, Halloween Kills, it's a fun watch. I cannot stress that enough. It is a fun movie. You could just pop in around Halloween and just get excited about it. It is so fun. The movie is so fun yet scary and unexpected, with the Umbrella Man jumping from the top of the building. It's so disturbing. But that's why we watch Halloween movies, isn't it? For the fall ambiance and the scares. So I highly recommend Halloween Kills. Check it out for yourself if you haven't already. If you have, let me know what you thought down below. I've been Maximus Cardillo. Thank you for watching. There's only one more question to ask. Are you not entertained?